Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. So today we're going over in the new Battle for Azeroth Beta how the Shadow Priest turns out, and if any changes is there. We will look through the spells, see the basic rotation and see the talents, and if any new things have been changed. So keep in mind that I'm not playing Shadow Priest as main, so I will not be like a pro guide to what you can expect in the new game. And keep in mind that they change the classes like every month, so maybe when the game release, all I'm saying in this video is wrong. But let's see how the state is right now in the beta. So let's go through the spells first. So the first spell here is Dispel Magic, remove a magic effect on enemy. Dissipation, so in 6 seconds you'll be taking 60% less damage, but you cannot attack at the same time. Clears all movement, impairing effect, makes you immune. Void form Insanity Drain is temporarily reduced by 100. Cast armor will stun, feared or silence. So nothing changed here. Fade, remove threat, nothing changed. Leap of Fate. So normally Shadow Priests didn't have this one here. I'm pretty sure there only was only Holy or Disc Priests that had this one here. I think actually it was only Disc Priest. Yeah, only Disc Priest had this one here. But now Shadow Priest also have it somehow. Levitate makes you flow so you don't die from falling. Mass Dispel. I don't think Shadow Priest had Mass Dispel 2 in Legion. Mind Blast, our damage ability. Mind Control, if you want to take control over the enemy. Very useful in PvP for jumping people over the cliff. Mind Flay, our failure spell for damaging. Mind Seer is our AoE spell, so we actually got Mind Seer back. Normally we just had Mind Flay, and if you used it on an enemy with Shadow Pain, I think, then it deal damage as Mind Seer. But now I can see we have Mind Flay and Mind Seer back again. I'm probably not a fan of that. No. Mind Vision, if you want to see what the enemy sees. Power Word Fortune, so we got the buffs back. So for 1 hour now I have 10% more stamina. So if you liked in old games to buff people, well, now you can buff people. So buff that guy and buff that guy. Cool. Then we have Powered Shield, so we have a shield for defending ourselves. Physical Scream, fearing your targets, remove a disease from you or friendly target, res, shock and undead, so the undead cannot move for 1 minute, actually 50 seconds. Shadowmant, a healing, we also had that in Legion, and if you are in combat, the enemy will take 69 damage every second until they have taken total 960 total damage, or leave combat. So if you heal anyone in combat with this, well, half of it will come back as damage. So, it's a weird healing. Shadow Pain, our damage over time. Shadow Find, a little strange follower we can summon to attack the target and it generates Insanity. Shadow Form, you deal 2% more damage, and physical damage deals 10% less damage. Silence, if you want to shut the mouth on the healer. Vampiric Essence, so you heal and maybe I'll have a 60% of single target shadow spell damage. So this is kind of buff that helps everyone with some healing. Helps your healers in the raid or heals yourself in PvP. Vampiric Touch is also one of our damage over abilities, and it heals for 50% of the damage, and if they dispel it, they will be feared. So we have Vampiric Touch and Shadow Pain as our damage over time abilities. Void Eruption, if you get to 90 Insanity you can use it, cast a very big explosive blast that deals a lot of damage to all enemies in 10 yards. So now it just deals a lot of damage to all within 10 yards. Okay. During Void Form, this ability replaces Void Bolt. Yeah, so you use it for getting strong, and then this will be kind of a shadow ball for you. Let's see the mastery. Increase the damage of your Shadow Word Pain, Vampiric Touch, Mind Blast, Mind Flame, Mind Sear, Void Eruption, and Void Bolt. So basic almost all your spells. When your Shadow Word Pain damage over time critical strikes, you also create a shadow version of yourself, flows toward the target and deal 264 damage. Then we have Void Bolt. As I said, if you use Void Eruption, it will replace with Void Bolt, deals damage, and extend the duration of Shadow Word Pain and Vampiric Touch. And when you're inside Void form when using Void Eruption, activated by casting Void Eruption, twist your shadow form with the power of the Void, increasing spell damage you deal by 10, reducing the cooldown of Mind Blast by 1.5, grant additional haste every second, 0.5 second, 0.5 haste per second. Your insanity will drain increasingly fast until it reaches 0 and Void form ends. So this is the spells. Let's see how the basic rotation for Shadow Priest would be. So the first thing I would do is cast Vampiric Touch, use Shadow Word Pain so you have your debuffs on it, cast Mind Blast every time you can, and every time Mind Blast is on cooldown and your dots is up, I would spam Mind Flame until your Mind Blast is ready, and your dots needs to be renewed again. So that's the 4 spells you have. You just have to continue to spam, and then you have a little trigger Shadow Priest. Sometimes you get 90 insanity, and then you have to use Void Eruption, and then you have to spam Mind Blast and Void Ball all the time. Use Mind Flame in the time between. Void Ball fast, Mind Blast fast. Your target is to try to cast as many Mind Blasts and Void Balls in this duration. So as I can see, the rotation has not changed at all from Legion to this game, Battle for Azeroth. So let's try to see the talents and the talent has some big impact on the spec. As I just can see now, it looks very familiar from when I used to play. I can see some talents have been swapped around. Okay, so the first one here, Mind Flay and Mind Blast deal 10% more damage and generates 20% more insanity. Shadow Word Pain periodic damage has a chance to reset remaining cooler on Mind Blast and cause your next Mind Blast to be instant. Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Void. Replace Mind Blast, blast the target with a Void of Void for 1900 shadow damage. 2 charges and generate. Okay, let's try that one. So now my Mind Blast is replaced by this instant. Oh, okay, it's not instant. So I will use this one here. Boom. Doesn't think it has any animations. No. And then I just, well, got 30 insanity because I've cast 2 times. So I'm not sure if it's quite bad. I mean, right now it deals 1900 damage. If I go back, my Mind Blast 1600, and I have 2 charges. You can say, you can either choose to have more damage with your Shadow Word Pain, damage over time has a chance to reset the cooldown of Mind Blast, or it deals more damage with Mind Flare and Mind Blast. I'll probably take this one here, because then my Shadow Word Pain always have a chance to reset the cooldown, like now, on my Mind Blast. So I'll probably take that one, and it's instant. I mean, in PvP it's so great. Then we have Mania, increase your movement speed up to 35 based on your current insanity. Power Word Shield increases your target movement speed by 40. Reduce the cooldown of Vampiric Embrace by 45, and increase its healing done by 25. I mean, I cannot see any reasons for not choosing this one here. It cooldown comes down to only almost 1 minute, and it will heal 65. Okay, it will heal 85% of all my damage from single target to allies. I mean, that's just insane. So if I, okay, 75 on my single target. So now if I use that one and just keep my spells, you can see the self healing on my cells is actually, it's quite nice. quite nice. Probably use it together with Void Eruption to get the maximum out of it. Then we have Twist of Fate, Misery, Dark Void. After damaging a target below 35 health, you gain 10% increased damage and healing for 8 seconds. Vampiric Touch also applies Shadow Wave Pain. Unleash an explosion of dark energy around the target, dealing 1000 shadow damage and applying Shadow Wave Pain to all navy enemies. That's pretty nice, because I mean, Priestess really needed some mass dot spell. So if I take that one and use it on this one here, boom, and now I have 3 dots on all the targets here, and it actually dealt okay damage. So I think that's worth. I mean, if you're playing in a raid with a lot of mobs, I think it's quite nice. But on a boss in a raid, I'd probably take Twist of Fate, because it gives you more. You gain increased damage and healing for 8 seconds if you damage the target below 35. I mean, from 35 to 0 on a boss, you will deal 10% more damage. That's pretty insane. Then these two cannot come close to it. But in PvP, I probably take Vampiric Misery with Vampiric Touch. Last wave, reduce the cooldown of silence by 15. Mind Bomb, replace my fear spell. Wait, inflict the target's mind bomb. After 2 seconds, After 2 seconds of the target die, it unleashes a physical explosion, fearing all enemies within 8 yards of the target. 5 seconds. So instead of people fleeing from me in my area, they will flee from the target's area. Oh, this one is a new. Terrifies the target in place, stunning them for 4 seconds. So that means Shadow Priest is actually getting a second stun. That's pretty cool. So I get my fear and I get a stun. So if I use my stun on this guy over here, how does it look? Okay, he just feared at the same location. That's pretty cool. So now I have fear for everyone, and the target's terrified and stunning them. So it says stunning, so, and this one here says flee, and is disorienting them. So I would guess if they're stunned, you can damage them, and it doesn't stack with the physics scream. So that means Shadow Priest have a stun and scream. That's pretty cool. Your Shadow abilities now deal 100% increased damage and generate 2 insanity. Shadow with Death. Doesn't I already have Shadow with Death. I don't understand. It's the exactly same spell as I already have. A word of Dark Binding that to inflict damage to the target, only usable on enemies with less than 20 health. 2 charges. It's exactly the same spell. Okay, Blizzard, oh, it doesn't work. Okay, so Blizzard misplaced the spell on my bar. Sweet. So if I take it, then it works. Okay. Okay, so we have Shadow with Death now as a talent instead of a spell that everyone have. So it's the kind of you execute if they're below 20% health, you can use it, and they will get a lot of damage. And it has 2 charges, that's pretty cool. Or we can take Shadow Crash. Hurls a bolt of slow-moving shadow energy at the destination, dealing 1300 damage to all targets. Let's try that. Boom. So if you're playing against someone where you need to do instant damage, I mean that's pretty cool. Probably in PvE I'd probably take Auspicious Spirits, and in PvP I probably take Shadow with Death. When Void Form ends, its haste bonus fades by 1 every second instead of ending immediately. Replay Shadow Find. Summon a Mindbender to attack the targets. So the only difference with Shadowfind and Mindbender is this one here generates Insanity, and it's not a sharp monster anymore, it's a octopus. And we have a coming soon talent, so not released yet. Void Eruption's cast time is reduced by 40% and may be cast anytime your insanity level is 60 or higher. And here a new spell, require void form. Interesting. Channel a torrent of void energy into the target, dealing 4300 shadow damage over 4 seconds. Insanity does not drain during this channel. Okay, so you can have 4 additional seconds in void form. It's pretty cool. All your insanity generation abilities generate 100% more insanity, and you can cast while moving for 1 minute. Then you take damage equal to 90 of your maximum health and cannot generate insanity for 30 seconds. Okay, so instead of you dying, you actually now just go down to 10% health. Insanity and generating abilities generate 100% more insanity, and you can cast while moving. So in PvP you can deal a lot of damage and you can just move around and be a jackass for 1 minute, but then after 1 minute people will definitely focus you when you go down to 10% health. So the healer have to have a very big backup plan if you're going to use this. But let's see how Void Torrent works. So if I replace Void Torrent here, so let's get up some Void Insanity so we can use the Void Eruption. Okay, so using Void Eruption now, and now I'm trying to Void Torrent. It's kind of, okay. So like the same spell we had before in the Legion artifact weapon, it's just that again. So I mean, it's a great spell, I think, but I'm definitely more into Surrender to Madness. For 1 minute you can cast while moving, and you have 100% more insanity generation. Let's try that. So let's take this one here, this one here. Surrender to Madness. There we go. Okay, let's try it. So now I can move while damaging. I generate a lot of insanity. Void Eruption. And I'm actually just a sick caster that can move around, and my void form is impossible to get out of because I'm creating so much insanity. And my haste is up on 70 stacks. No, I went out of it. This is insane. I mean, I already have my void form again. And boom, 10% health. So I did a lot of damage, and then I went down to 10% health. And you have to have your shield ready, and definitely have Dissipation ready. So when you get down, you're getting less damage, you have a shield on, you have Dissipation, and your healer needs to have everything ready for you. So okay, that must be an error. Atonement, that's only for, you know, Disc Priestess. Heal whenever I priest damage. Okay, so if I use Powered Shield on myself, I get Atonement on myself. Okay, that's a bug, because you can see I don't get any healings, so that's a bug. That's getting fixed. So I mean, this is the talents, the basic rotation and the spells for the Battle for Azeroth Beta on the Shadow Priestess. I hope you liked the video, and keep in mind I'm not professional Shadow Priest, so failures can be in there. But please leave down a comment if I did anything wrong to help me in the future. And thanks for all the comments on all the other videos. I also get a lot of comments about, I'm doing mistakes and I should not create videos about it, but I mean, I'm not making pro guides about this, so you probably live on. But thanks for watching, and if you have any comments or any changes I should make, please leave down a comment, and thanks for watching.